Hey guys, Jengar here. We are looking at a development blog and it's not about tanks. It's not about tanks this time. It's about aircraft. Yes, finally. Thank you Gaijin. They heard our prayers and they have made an announcement on the future of aviation in War Thunder, supersonic jet aircraft and air-to-air missiles with a nice picture of a meteor here with some armament on it. We would like to tell you about a new aircraft class in War Thunder and also about guided air-to-air missiles and other features in air battles that we will begin to implement after the release of update 1.85 Supersonic. Aircraft have always been a very important part of War Thunder. I'm very glad they mentioned that because that is what the game was started on, and many of the tankers in game that went to tanks have been pilots first and got tired of the staleness of the aircraft part. Although, of course, as they say here, they have created over 650 aircraft models, which is all fine and good. What they don't mention is that they left the main gameplay modes exactly the same. And that is still one of my worries, even after this. This will create a new kind of gameplay, of course, because we will get air-to-air missiles, guided missiles, and also countermeasures. So of course that will create a new dimension on existing maps. But if you're playing anything before those planes, you're still playing in the same setup. So I still think, and I hope, that they will go into those new features that they will begin to implement after this patch. So I hope they will make a push for air, and hopefully that will bring back a lot of pilots that have left the game over the years. But anyway, they say that well, it was the first vehicle type in game, and they have made the biggest digital interactive collection of aviation in the world, which is fantastic. And that is why one of the reasons why we love this game, because you can fly pretty much any plane you love from the Second World War. And these are not just visual models, their flight characteristics, armament and other systems are thoroughly recreated in the game. Initially, we deliberately limited aircraft time periods with the golden age of piston engine aircraft to the beginning of jet aviation, since these machines truly demonstrate the personal and tactical skills of a pilot. Guided missiles seemed to be a feature that will level all pilots independent of their skill. This is why we did not initially plan to implement them in the game, but the community has become more and more interested, so we decided to study the issue thoroughly and to find a way to implement this feature in our game. And we said before that they should take their time for this. They have to implement this right, because this is new blood for the air game in War Thunder. And if they do this wrong, then it is not going to have a positive effect on the air part of the game. So they have to make it right. And I'm glad they took their time. They say they started the initial test of prototypes back in 2017. And they've been working on new game systems and new aircraft ever since. Finally, we are happy to introduce all of this to our players. Meet a new age of War Thunder aviation, rank 6 aircraft. That's fantastic. Now there will be 3 new tier 6 aircraft introduced initially. They will introduce the Soviet MiG-19 PT, the American F-100D Super Sabre, and the British Javelin Mark 9. All these aircraft are supersonic and they are armed with a new weapon type, air-to-air missiles with infrared heat-seeking. Air-to-air missiles are a new type of munition in our game, and let's hope that they implement this interesting. I mean, they say that you can avoid these rockets easily, especially the earlier ones, and it's going to be very interesting in my opinion. Historically, they appeared in the second half of the 20th century and were designed to solve the problem of hitting targets that were flying at extremely high speeds. Of course, these extremely high speeds made it difficult for pilots to aim correctly. Air-to-air missiles have a long history of development like aircraft. Modern missiles have great capabilities at finding and homing in on a target, and their maneuverability surpasses that of modern jets. If a target is captured by a homing device, a modern one, it usually will achieve a hit and destroy the target. However, this has not always been the case. The first air-to-air missiles had limited capabilities with capture range and possible overload. To capture a target, a homing device needs to sometime to lock on a target, and all this time the pilot has to hold the target in a pretty narrow sector. So that's going to be a challenge against your enemy pilot to get a lock on the target, and when you finally launch the target, the pilot can relatively easily evade it, they say, with sudden maneuvers or by flying the aircraft against the sun, which is not very beneficial to infrared devices. So that's fun. That sounds fun and that sounds good. You have to have a chance to avoid them. Of course, that will bring up skill in this battle as well, because you don't want it to be skillless and just the first person to see another person and shoot a missile will win. If it's that, then of course it will be a disappointment. But if you have indeed relatively good chances, if you see the rocket in time to avoid it, that would be fun. Being implemented in the game, all these features and limitations allow us to believe that the new weapon type will not dramatically change the air combat experience, but will add new opportunities that will make gameplay more diverse. Well, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. This is something we needed. My fellow pilots, we have been neglected for too long, and this is fantastic to read. Absolutely brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. New systems and balance. New armament types will be introduced, not only to combat planes, but also to helicopters. Helicopters will receive new types of defense, how to counter air-to-air missiles, heat flares, exhaust, infrared suppression systems, and counter-optical electrical systems. This will allow a reduction in the range of air-to-air missiles when launched from one helicopter to another, and will allow interruption in missile guidance, thus keeping primary weapon systems still useful. Yeah, absolutely, you don't want to make them redundant, so I'm glad that they paid attention to that, and it will hopefully provide for some interesting gameplay. I'm not playing helicopters myself though, so for me it's purely the aircraft that will be released. We will also add a simulation of visual detection of a missile launch, which will be displayed in the interface. It will depend upon crew skills. That's fun as well. We hope that all these features will make our game more exciting and diverse, and you will like it. Well, we definitely like it. Looking forward to your feedback and see you in the skies. Well, the feedback will only come when we get our hands on it, of course. The real feedback, but for now, this is magnificent news for any pilot in War Thunder. It is something to look forward to and something to get excited for, let's say. But still, I want to mention that this does nothing for the general gameplay. I mean, in Tier 6 it does, but in Tier 1 through 5 we still have the same maps, we still have the same win conditions, we still have the same gameplay, we still have the same meta. So please, Gaijin, this is the first step and I'm very happy to see it. Make no mistake about it, this is a huge step and I'm glad you finally are here. You took your time, you developed it, and we can finally look at it. But after this, it is time to make another air update and make sure that you do some interesting stuff in the different air modes. The general gameplay needs to be enhanced upon and developed through further, because it has been stale for too long. But this is a fantastic beginning, Gaijin, I'll give you that. And I am definitely looking forward to it. Now they also have some questions that they answered. So let's get into those a little bit. Will the F4, F16, F22 and Su-27 etc. be added to the game? Further development towards modern aircraft is possible, but these additions will be incremental as it requires precise analysis of vehicle possibilities and their effect on game balance. That's fair. I want them to do these kind of things right. So if it takes a little bit of time, that's okay. Just do it right, pay attention to it, and give it love. And then when it comes out finally and it's good, then that's better than that if they rush it. Besides, the addition of specific aircraft does not mean the addition of the whole range of weapon available for its real prototype. That's also maybe a good idea, because there are some weapons that could really destroy the gameplay and fun of the game. Second question was, any plans on aviation units like the Tu-95 and the B-52? We doubt strategic bombers realization is required, though some tactical strike aircraft, including subsonic attackers, may possibly appear in the game. Of course, with the loadouts that these later bombers have, these modern bombers, it's going to be difficult to balance that out with the amount of vehicles in the games and the amount of hit points that bases have in airfield. So that's difficult to look at for Gaijin. I can understand that. I hope they one day will get through it and they will have enhanced the gameplay so much that they can actually implement these vehicles and make them useful and make it fun. But we'll see about that. What about airborne radars and radar homing missiles? These may possibly appear in War Thunder if we manage to make them easy to use, easy to learn, and without affecting gameplay and game balance. We will keep you in the loop whatever we start working on. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, everything is balanced in this game, and if it's not balanced, then it's gonna hamper gameplay and fun. So it's good that they think about it, but I agree with that with them. Helicopters carried rather advanced air-to-air missiles. Won't they affect the game balance? That's true, as helicopters have been equipping air-to-air missiles in later periods. Those were not advanced. Those were more advanced and effective units, like AIM-9L and R-60. However, helicopters have less maneuverability than aircraft. Also, have their engine heat signatures significantly less visible. Shorter lock-on distances for missiles and such. This makes opposition against helicopters and aircraft more fair. A jet fighter has better dynamics, while a helicopter is able to launch missile at a distance exceeding its gun's aiming range. In this encounter, helicopters' air-to-air missiles won't be too imbalanced, especially with the planned countermeasures like heat flares and jamming systems. Now that's going to be interesting, managing that, avoiding missiles and trying to kill planes at the same time. Definitely making Tier 6 very new and probably interesting gameplay. That is something to be looking forward to. What about countermeasures for aircraft? They will be introduced along with aircraft that had such devices. Okay, that's great. Do you plan to add air-to-air missiles for already existing aircraft? It is possible if an aircraft could be equipped with such armament. Well, it's the same kind of answer. They will look at the aircraft setups and add what they want to add. And maybe leave something out as well. They said that earlier. If it will unbalance the gameplay possibly. Will there be any battle rating changes for rank 5 aircraft, and against which enemies will new aircraft fight? Will they not be too effective against aircraft already present in the game? BR for new top aircraft will be selected as a base for their capabilities and the capabilities of their opponents. In addition, the new top aircraft will have implemented a number of features and limitations inherent to real vehicles, which will also give the chance for aircraft already existing in the game. Okay, well, we do have to be careful, guys, in that you make sure to decompress Tier 5 while you're at it. This is a perfect chance to make problems like 8.0 being up-tiered against the 9.0s. This is a chance to make the current top-tier vehicles like the Hunter, like the MiG-17 and such, make them 9.3 and make the 8.0 viable again, and also make the new top-tier planes such a better rating that some of the 9.0s we have right now, like some Panthers that I know about, shouldn't face these new kind of jets. But anyway, I hope Gaijin takes this chance to make sure that the battle rating compression in Tier 5 won't flow over into Tier 6, because there's a real definite danger of that. But I hope they are awake at the wheel and that they pay attention. Will the 6th rank aircraft available immediately with the release of update 1.75, or will it be implemented as a closed beta test? Yes, they will be available immediately. So we do not plan a CBT for the 6th rank. That's great. Available for everybody happy. That's great. Will aircraft of the 6th rank be added also for other nations? Yes, we plan to add 6th rank for aircraft of other nations as well. We're working on it. So that's good. So they start with 3 nations and they will slowly add to that, which sounds good to me. With the addition of rank 6 aircraft, does this mean there will be no more piston engine World War II aircraft added? No, we will continue to work on aircraft from the 30s to the 50s as well. That's also great news because there's still plenty to implement and many different models and variations to get into the game. And don't forget, Gaijin, work on that gameplay part because that is the most important thing. I mean, Tier 6 is a fantastic start, but we need that as well. Will you implement a sonic boom effect in the game? Yes, we will, both the sound effect and the visual one. The Prandtl Glowered Singularity. Difficult. But that's great to hear as well. Now, okay, so much for the questions. This is looking very nice, and I have to say, Gaijin, this is a great start, and this is making me very happy, especially after my rant a few days ago. I was really losing hope with all the tank dev blogs. But this development blog has given me new enthusiasm. It's a great start. But Gaijin, don't forget to look at the gameplay as well, because this is just going to be those jets in Tier 6 that's going to have new gameplay elements. All the other ranks and tiers are going to stay the same, and they are definitely getting stale after 5 years of basically no development in the gameplay side of things. So please do look at that as well, and if you continue work on all of this stuff, I'm sure Air will get new blood, old pilots will be coming back, and it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.